This video is sponsored by Honkai Impact 3rd. Gamers, gacha gamers. You know me, I love my 2D girls, and Honkai Impact 3rd has the cream of the crop. A free-to-play 3D action role-playing mobile game developed and published by MiHoYo, the same makers of Genshin Impact, which, speaking of which, they're having a collaboration event right now. Fischl will be joining as a new Valkyrie with her companion Ozzy, along with Keqing, where you can free more powerful forces for Keqing to fight against the enemy, which includes the more powerful the Wolf of the North in this world. And, most amazingly, both of these characters are completely free! Sorry, what does this word mean? I've never heard this word before as a gacha gamer. New players who join the game now can win over 100 free supply cards by completing missions, and can even enter a sweepstake to win a big mystery prize. And also from July 12th to August 12th, Honkai Impact 3rd will be collaborating with bubble tea brand Kung Fu Tea in the US and Canada. So you can join the event for a chance to win limited merch and an iPhone 12. So, what are you waiting for? Download Honkai Impact 3rd today and join the events to win some great prizes. Links and info in the description below. And with that said, let's get on with the video. The Fate series is one of the most expansive franchises in all of anime. In between all the games, anime, manga, light novel, visual novels, spin-offs, it's probably one of the most daunting franchises for any newbie to try to get into. A little while ago, I made a joke skit called Trying to Understand the Fate franchise, based around how confusing the entire thing looked for an outsider looking in. And satire aside, it was based on many real-life conversations I've actually had with Fate fans trying to explain the franchise to newcomers. And every time that happens, I always hear, do you want the long version or do you want the short version? Because everyone asks for the short version, but even the short version for an outsider can seem like a convoluted mess of information. Thought you were going to give me the short version. This is the short version. But ever since I made that video, and because no one ever actually asked for it, I've always wondered to myself, what is the long version? The Fate franchise fascinates me. Originally created by Kinoku Nasu, what started as just a single eroge visual novel has turned into a multi-billion-dollar franchise with more media than any sane person can wrap their head around. I mean, just look at all this shit. Can you see how many there is? There's at least 5. So it can be easy to forget how and why people became fans in the first place, that many newcomers may even forget to ask, what is Fate even about? Don't worry, I got you. The basic premise revolves around a bunch of mages who can summon heroic spirits from Earth's real history or legends to do battle over the Holy Grail, a mythical wish-granting device in what is called the Holy Grail War. Basically, it's a bunch of mages spending all their V-Bucks to organize the ultimate Fortnite, Apex Legends, fucking Minecraft, Hunger Games, battle royale between all your favorite people from history and legend to create the ultimate showdown of ultimate destiny. God, I hope my audience isn't too young to understand that reference. And the Holy Grail War is just basically Nasu going, "Wow!" Let's just cut the video there, that's all you need to know about Fate. However, the background and lore of the entire Fate universe is unimaginably deeper than that. So much so that every single spin-off, anime, manga, novel, every single piece of Fate's media takes place in a coherent universe fitting somewhere on a grand timeline, which is also shared with Nasu's other works, creating this grand universe known only as the Nasuverse. So you know what I thought would be a good idea? What if I tried explaining the entire Fate timeline? Keyword being thought, implying it was me in the past tense. It was a shit idea. Explaining all the Fate lore and timeline in detail would take hours and hours. I mean, just look at some of these wiki pages. This isn't a wiki page, it's a fucking light novel. Saber lore. That time some slag at a pond threw a sword at me and I accidentally became the fucking King of England. So this is more like the long, short version. Or is it the short, long version? Or is it the medium version? It's an excuse to justify all the countless hours I've put into this hellhole. Obviously, there is going to be spoilers, but I'm going to try and keep it focused on the lore and universe and where every series fits in the timeline, rather than what actually happens in any individual series. So, hopefully it won't spoil your experience too much if you decide to walk into hell with us. So, with that said, let's start explaining all of Fate. It's not too late now, Garn. All we have to do is just turn the camera off and delete the file and no one will ever have to know. You see that, Gigguk? That was Gigguk 3 months ago. I've been putting off filming this for 3 fucking months. Just kill me now. Oh, 3 fucking months. This is my dissertation all over again. Hello and welcome to my TED Talk. To be introducing the Fate timeline, I'm going to be cosplaying the most powerful servant in the history of the Fate timeline. Steve Handjobs. But before we get to the Fate timeline, there are a few core concepts we need to bang out first so everything makes sense. Firstly is Akasha. See, Fate exists in this grand world of magic and mages where you can summon heroic beings from the past, present, and future, and all of this derives from Akasha. What is Akasha? See, Akasha is this metaphysical place that exists outside of time and dimensions that is the source of all events and all the souls in all timelines, and I like using big words to make me sound smart. Basically, everything that's ever happened and everyone you know, you can thank Akasha for it. 2020 as a whole? Thanks, Akasha! The Chad himself, Chug Jug's Fortnite remix. Thanks, Akasha! The one time in class you thought you had a silent fart but you ripped out a fat one and everyone heard it and stared at you and your brain still reminds you about it every time you were about to sleep? Fuck you, Akasha. So instead of wibbly wobbly timey wimey stuff, this is more like wibbly wobbly timey wimey goopy galaxy diddly dimension rickety reality stuff. Where every timeline and every reality exists at the same time, meaning there are no spin-offs, every fate is canon, life is a line, yes, that smutty dojin of Minamoto going ada on the order is canon in some timeline. You can't prove me otherwise! Are you with me? Good. This is important because the end goal of every mage in the Fate universe is to find a way to reach the root of Akasha. But Gigguk, why do all mages want to find the root of Akasha? Well, I'm glad you asked, probably confused viewer. I really hope you're not confused right now, this is just the beginning. Well, this would be a good time to talk about the magic system that exists in the Nasu-verse, because as we all know, in this universe, mages exist and use magecraft, aka magic. Right? Wrong. Incorrect. Erroneous. Mistaken. I can't think of any more words off the top of my head. What are you, an idiot? Why would anyone assume that magic and magecraft are the same thing? Look at this guy. Typical man that can't tell the difference between magic and magecraft. No. You got magecraft, the weak sauce imitation butter. Ooh, I can't believe it's not magic. And then you got the Chad true magic. This is the top tier gourmet shit. This is the shit real mages want to use. The kind of shit Gordon Ramsay has to taste off and goes, finally, some good fucking magic. But this premium shit can only be achieved by mages who view Akasha. And once someone gets that magic, that path to Akasha is cut off, and then the magic can only be used by the direct descendants of that original mage. Basically, no one has real magic and they're trying to get to the root of Akasha so they can stop using the peasant dollar store magecraft shit. Oh man, what if the third magic was just the power to create fate porn? But what's stopping all mages from getting to this mythical place called Akasha? Well, you have this thing called the counterforce. This is kind of like a safety mechanism that stops the world from going extinct because the Earth is actually alive and has a will, and don't worry about that right now. And the counterforce itself is made up of 2 parts. The collective unconscious will of humanity itself to survive, Alaya, and the will of the planet itself, Gaia, online. Why is this important? Because the counterforce has powerful defense mechanisms, like being able to summon heroic spirits from Earth's history in order to defend itself, which we call servants. Sound familiar?
I understood that reference.
So it'll intervene anyone trying to get to Akasha, aka the Goopy Galaxy Timey Wimey place, and mages have to find a way around it. Are you with me? Are you with me? Good. If you're already confused, may I introduce to you the phrase everyone in the Fate fandom holds in the highest esteem as the holiest words in our gospel. Don't worry about it. Why is the cast of Fate Stay Night sharing a nice wholesome meal instead of trying to brutally murder each other? Don't worry about it. How do reality bubbles work? Don't worry about it. What is the moon? Don't worry about it. No, please don't worry about it. Please don't ask me what the moon is. I'm not gonna fucking talk about the moon! To recap, you have Akasha, the timey-wimey goopy galaxy rickety reality place that every mage is trying to get to so they can use the top tier gourmet true magic. But the only thing stopping them is the counterforce, which they have to try and find a way around. Did you get all that? This is all the background information you need to know before we start the timeline. Jesus Christ, we haven't even started the timeline yet. You know, originally I wanted to visualize the timeline physically by having things stuck against the wall strung together with a string or something like that, like you see in that Always Sunny meme. But then I soon realized I don't have a wall big enough. So that's why I'm using the green screen. Definitely not because I want to rip off Nakey Jakey. Now, starting right at the beginning, before any mages, before any servants, before any Holy Grail wars, you have the Age of God. So yeah, apparently right at the beginning of Fate lore, there was this period of time where gods roamed the earth with man, mythical creatures existed, and I shit you not, physics apparently just wasn't a thing. Yeah, apparently this thing called mystery governed the law of the world, which I don't know what that's supposed to mean. Don't worry about it. Like, I just imagine in my head some ancient humans trying to let go of an apple and physics tries to drop it and mystery's like, no, 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 no. We do not do that here. And then the apple just flies off to fucking Narnia. But everything changed when the Sefer nation attacked. Or just Sefer. This next time period is called Deterioration. This titan called Sefer invaded and destroyed most of the world and was only beaten back by this mighty sword called Excalibur. After the attack, the gods weaken a bit, mystery starts to wane, and physics is like, yo, is anyone gonna drop that apple? Which takes us to separation. So the gods are a little pissed that they can't go down to Earth anymore because they're so weak, so they make Gilgamesh, who's 2/3 god. Because gods don't give a shit about maths apparently, with the intention of making him the keystone to connect the gods and the humans. Now, for anyone not familiar with the Fate verse, how can I explain Gilgamesh? You know that one meme, is this some peasant joke I'm too poor to understand? Well, imagine if that meme was reincarnated as a person. That's Gilgamesh. So yeah, he decides to rebel and the gods were like, no. This guy? This guy doesn't want to take orders from us? No, come on, you're joshing us right now. This is a prank. Come on, where are the hidden cameras? I'm on MTV Punk'd, aren't I? And so with that, the gods cannot interfere with humans anymore. And thus begins the Age of Man. From the year 0 AD, the human population explodes, magic and magecraft is replaced with science, and most importantly, physics exists now, guys, yeah! I was meant to buy a party popper, but I completely forgot to. Alan, can you edit a party popper in this video, please? Thank you. That's right, screw your mystery. I have E equals MC squared. Okay, remember right at the beginning of this video when I said the Fate franchise was about this thing called the Holy Grail? Well, we can finally start talking about the Holy Grail. See, the Grail is touted as this omnipotent, magical, wish-granting device, and that's only partially true. See, around the 1800s, these epic magic gamer girls, called the Einsburns family, figured out a way to the root of Akasha. That place that gives you true epic gamer magic. By using the Holy Grail to summon 7 heroic spirits and then sacrifice them, and using that mana to summon an even greater grail called the Greater Grail, which has access to the root of Akasha. But of course, all the various magic gamer girls and boys couldn't agree on who would actually get access to this magic, so they decided to have a meeting to decide. One could even say that it was a magic. The Gathering. Or in Fate, we just call this the Holy Grail War. Which finally leads us to the timelines to all the wars so far. Oh, I can't believe I flunked world history and I'm about to recite the entire history of some fictional war that happened. Okay, so you got like the first Holy Grail War, which happened around the 1800s. This is when the 3 main mage families, the Einsburns, the Toesuckers, and the Matos, couldn't agree on who could get access to the Grail. So they were like, guys, we've got a bunch of servants lying about. Tournament arc, tournament arc, tournament arc, tournament arc, tour! This was hardly what you'd call an actual war though, and more like a 3 AM brawl at the local mage pub, which ended because everyone got bored and time ran out. Then came the second Holy Grail War in the 1860s with the same parties involved, but this time everyone went a bit fucking mental because everyone died, nobody won, and future generations were like, wait a minute, do we need rules? What the fuck is a Geneva Convention? Then came the third Holy Grail War in the 1930s where the church gets involved because they're just like, are you using the term Holy Grail? God, are we allowed to copy strike that? And everyone's happy with that because they can enforce the rules. So the church is like, all right gamers, I want a fair fight, no going for the eyes, no kicking below the belt, and for God's sakes, no summoning any illegal servants. So then the Einsburns summon an illegal servant. And so they get this totally new servant called Angramayu, aka the Angry Mango, who's meant to be this super badass, ultra OP new servant that auto wins them the war, except lol, JK is actually super weak and dies, and is literally so angry he gives the Grail food poisoning. Then we got the fourth Holy Grail War, which is basically just the events of Fate Zero. I'm not gonna spoil what happens in it. And finally, we have the grand sugar daddy that birthed everything we're talking about. the 5th Holy Grail War, aka the events of Fate's Day Night. Following Shiro fighting in it using the power of friendship and fucking, mana transfer, and this CG dragon still haunts my nightmares. What's important here is that this war has at least 3 different timelines, because the original Fate's Day Night was a visual novel with 3 different routes. You got the Fate route, Unlimited Blade Words, and Heaven's Feel. Or, to put it more simply, you got the Saber route, the Best Girl route, and the Sakura route, with extra fucking, mana transfer. But it doesn't stop there, because next we got Fate Hollow Ataraxia, which is kind of like a sequel to Fate's Day Night because it takes place 6 months after the events that happened in there. So you may be wondering which one of the 3 routes it follows, and the answer is yes. So one of the main girls from Fate's Day Night, Rin, is doing some magic experiments, and she does a little bit of an oopsie, and completely fucks up the space-time continuum, merging all parallel universes together. And I know what you're thinking, this doesn't sound like a little oopsie, this sounds a bit more like a big oopsie. But it's all good because she looks great in thigh highs. So we're following this mage Bazette who was dead off screen in the original Fate's Day Night, and she is now alive along with Angramayu, aka the Angry Mango. And they're stuck in a Groundhog Day type time loop, living the same 4 days over and over, and she has to find a way to escape without fading from existence because she was originally dead, and I guess people die if they don't exist. Since most of this takes place in a time loop, this is basically just Fate Re-Zero Edition, so you can essentially just call it Fate Zero. Wait. And you know what? That's basically everything for the flagship Fate series. Woo! We did it, guys! Woo! That was pretty simple, right, guys? What are we missing? Fuck. Of course, we are going to have to fill this timeline in with all the other Fate media out there. So, let's do the time warp again. Oh my god. Alan, fucking cut that. Alright, so let's start with Fate Apocrypha. So the Fate Apocrypha timeline is exactly identical to the original timeline, except when we get to the 3rd Holy Grail War, where the timeline was like, you know what? Nazis. Because of course it's the fucking Nazis. So the Nazis join the 3rd Holy Grail War, and instead of there being a winner, the Nazis steal the Greater Grail system. And so after that, a Transylvanian Nazi mage guy steals it from the Nazis again, and then I guess the Nazis go on to lose World War II as usual. Fast forward to the future, and somehow the entire world finds out about the Greater Grail system, and everyone and their dog tries to make a cheap imitation of it. And so because of this, the Transylvanian Nazi sorcerer guy vows to make the Holy Grail War great again. And so he makes the Great Holy Grail War. I shit you not, this is what it's called. And so now instead of 7 servants, you have 14 servants separated into 2 teams, red and black. That's right, it's a team deathmatch.
Team deathmatch! Team deathmatch!
Team deathmatch! Team deathmatch! Stab it!
And so we get a season of red versus black, Mordred is hot, and a stealth will make straight guys question their sexuality, and gay guys question their sexuality, and gay girls question their sexuality. And me question my life choices for spending $400 for a dick. That concludes the events of Hitler's Day Night. Next on the menu, we have today's menu for Emiya family. Did you see what I did there? This is, I think, just another alternate ending to the 5th Holy Grail War, where I guess nobody dies and they all just sit around cooking and playing volleyball and being happy, and this is canon, okay? They never explain where this takes place on the timeline, but I don't care. They're all happy, Akasha made it, it's canon. Like in my mind, this is the reality when someone just tried playing the Fate visual novel but got bored 5 minutes after reading words and then just left and never came back. And then all these characters are just sitting around having a gay old time waiting for the Holy Grail War to start. This is what happened. This is the reality where Sea-Dog VA tried to play Fate. Alright, so I'm just gonna make a Fate Day Night bubble, and then I'm gonna put Fate Tiger Coliseum and fake unlimited codes in this bubble, because they're just fighting games and they're already beating the shit out of each other in the series anyway, so I guess these are just the filler episodes we never got to see. Then we got Fate School Life, which is kind of like a slice of life spin-off in the Fate Day Night universe that also has Ataraxia characters in it, so I guess it goes here. Can you tell how I'm sure I am right now? Lord Elmalloy's Case Files. This is basically just CSI magic that takes place after Fate Zero but before Fate's Day Night, starring Fate Zero's Waver. Except Waver's gone from Daddy Step on Me to Step on Me, Daddy. Alright. Now we get into the manly shit. Fate DJ Khaled, Lina Prisma Ilya, is a spin-off where Ilya becomes a magical girl. And instead of summoning servants, the magical girls can use these magical cards to channel the power of a servant. And also there's a magical talking wand, don't worry about it. Before I properly got into the Fate franchise, I thought that this was just an unrelated spin-off that had nothing to do with the main universe, but no! Not only does this directly diverge from the main timeline, but it has two separate universes within its own universe. It's a fucking Ilia multiverse! And the beginning of the Ilia multiverse doesn't even have Ilia in it! Oh god, I love you so much, Fate, but you just don't make things easy, do you? Alright, I'm gonna try and do my best, so stick with me here. The first universe is the one detailed in the movie Oath Under Snow, following this girl called Miyu, which is why we call this the Miyu-verse, because her name is Miyu and she's the child of God, don't worry about it. She's taken in by Shiro, and then they have another Holy Grail War, but not the usual Holy Grail War, but the Ainsworth Holy Grail War. Can you guess why it's called the Ainsworth Holy Grail War? Because it was made by the Ainsworth. Shiro then sends Miyu to an alternate universe, which we call the Ilia-verse, which is all sunshine and rainbows, where the fourth Holy Grail War didn't happen and Kiritsugu's Father of the Year. You got cute girls doing cute things, cute girls doing magical things, and cute girls doing each other. This is the universe where season 1 and 2 of Prisma Ilia happens, but then you have season 3, which jumps back into the Miyu-verse. And if you think that complicates the timeline, how about this little knowledge of nugget? So, in the original Fate Stay Night, Ilia is 18. She's 18. She's older than Shiro. But in the Ilia-verse, she's the same age as when the timelines diverge, which theoretically should make her the same age as she was in Fate Stay Night. But she's not. And the series makes it very clear that she is under 18. So which is it, Fate? Which is it? I need to know. You know, I would say don't worry about it, but I'm pretty sure the FBI are gonna do that for me. Alright, moving the fuck on from this mess of a legal situation. You got Fate, also known as the Fate Extra universe. This splits off from the third Holy Grail War in the Angry Mango timeline, where all the world's mana dries up because some kind of event. So in the 2030s, all the mages turned into hackers and they tried to hack the moon because the moon has a supercomputer on it that was placed there by aliens that they found. And so inside this supercomputer moon, there exists this entire digital world. And so the supercomputer moon is hosting a virtual reality Holy Grail War because it's actually alive. I don't realize how ridiculous this sounds until I read it out loud. Don't worry about it! So yeah, it turns out the moon knows shit and you can hack the moon, and it also has Rin, Sakura, and Kirei from the original Fate Stay Night, but not the original Rin, Sakura, and Kirei from the original Fate Stay Night. What are you, stupid? They're just characters who look, sound, and dress exactly the same, but they're different. Are you worrying about it? Cause I'm not. So you got the Fate Extra games, the Fate Extra Triple C games, and then you got the anime. Fate Extra Last Encore in its own separate timeline that takes place in the year 3000. And Rin's great-great-great-granddaughter. It's just fucking Rin. Fate Grand Order. Oh god, you're not gonna make me break down Fate Grand Order. Alright. Now we're truly in hell. So Fate Go is a mobile gacha game along with some anime adaptations where the first Holy Grail War never happened, the world is fucked for some reason, and you have got to travel back in time to various points in history to fix the fucking timeline. And every different timeline you fix is called singularities. Basically, imagine Fate Back to the Future, except there are like 7 sequels all with different diverging timelines, and you're not trying to fuck your mum, you're just trying to fuck all the servants. Alright, so for simplicity's sake, I think it would just be easier if I just draw out the Fate Go timeline. And then here in its own corner is just Fate Prototype, which is Kinoko Nasu's original concept for Fate, where King Arthur's actually a guy? Get out of here with your damn historical inaccuracies. So essentially this is just a non-existent project because the only thing that exists is a 12-minute trailer that was made purely for fan service. Which is even more bizarre when you consider Fate Prototype Fragments of Sky Silver, which is the prequel to Fate Prototype. They made a prequel, a full light novel prequel, to a 12-minute commercial. Like, did I really think Fate fans are that hungry for content? A Type Moon just sitting there being like, alright Fate fans, open wide. Content, give me anything. And then this prequel to a project that basically doesn't even exist has a side story called Fate Labyrinth. A side story! This is why Tsukahime fans are on suicide watch. You can tell that line was written months ago because, Yeah, where the fuck did this come from? And all this would be a completely alternate universe with no connection to the original universe, but I shit you not, one of the characters has a dream that connects this universe to the Fate Stay Night universe. Yep. It's literally canon by dream. Alright, I think we're getting close to the end. Next is Fate Strange Fake. This is a light novel series that takes place after the 5th Holy Grail War in America, where they do their own Holy Grail War with hookers and blackjack, written by the same guy who did Bakano. As a recording, we don't know if this follows on from the main flagship timeline or is part of an alternate universe, but what we do know is that there's a servant called Watcher and it's literally just a fucking whale in the sky. I'm sorry, I must have missed the legend where a fucking flying whale saves Earth. Does Free Willy count as a legendary hero of history now? There's Fate-type Redline. It's Tokyo in the 1940s. The Nazis are at it again, but this time so are the Japanese military. It's the third Grail War with seemingly no other connections to any of the Grails, and it's a manga drawn by the Demon Slayer mangaka. We got Fate Requiem. Not a lot about this is known right now because it's not been officially translated, but what we do know is that it's set in the future after some kind of Holy Grail War, and somehow everyone has their own Holy Grail. And also there's this new servant called Voyager, who I guess is the Voyager space probe, except I have no fucking clue how a space probe becomes a servant, let alone a blonde Shota boy, space probe servant, and don't tell me to worry about it, because I'm not. Can you see how much I'm not worrying about it? I am not worrying about it! But seriously, how the fuck? And finally, in a bubble within its own fucking dimension, is Carnival Phantasm, where all the Fate characters and other characters from Nasu's other works are just hanging out, I guess. Doesn't make any sense, I have no idea where this fits on the timeline. I think this is just a bubble reality where Akasha got fucking drunk. And that's it! That is the long version. Kinda. Oh, but Gigguk, what about the rest of the Nazi verse? You gonna do that as well? How about no? Originally, this was meant to be a grand video where I talked about all the funny and ridiculous things I found out about Fate lore as a whole. But when I started it, I kind of realized I'm gonna need 20 minutes just to explain the fucking timeline. So you know what? This may just be the first part in a multi-series lecture from hell. Because the worst thing about Fate is that after going through all the timelines, after connecting all the lore, after spending far too many hours consuming Fate media and reading pages upon pages of wiki articles, it kind of makes sense. Oh God, this chart actually makes sense to me. The entire timeline is actually the simplest part of Fate lore. Fate is just an all-encompassing whole that just gets darker and gloomier the deeper you go down. People wonder what's at the bottom of the abyss in Made in Abyss. It's just the fucking entrance to the Fate hole. You want the real short version Fate newcomers? You watch either of these two, and then watch this, and then watch whatever the fuck you want. Or you know what? Fuck all this. Start with the spin-off series, start with lesbian lollies kissing, start with Fate MasterChef, fuck, start with the doujinshis for all I care, just ignore all the shitstorm going on in the comment section right now. The reality is, it doesn't really matter where you start, as long as it looks interesting to you, then go for it. The problem is there's so many people who are obsessed with optimizing the perfect read and watch order that they forget that if you enjoy the experience and it gets you into Fate, then who the fuck cares what order you watch it in? Cause look, memes aside, the Fate lore may be a convoluted mess to unravel, but it is an awesome franchise. It's a series that can have amazing fights with balls to the walls action and magical moments that cut deep into your heart. And then Thomas Edison shows up as a lion. Because if you've reached the end of this video knowing nothing about Fate and this is the video that's convinced you to give it a try, what the fuck is wrong with you? This got you interested in Fate? Oh God, why didn't you just listen to me the first time and go with the short version? You know what? Fuck this. I'm done. I'm not doing Fate anymore. I'm literally gonna go crazy. You know what? I lied. This isn't even the long version. Hey guys, I really hope you enjoyed that video. Thank you again to Honkai Impact for sponsoring me today, and also thank you very much to Ivido, The Walto, Payne Patchett, Eliful, Basil, and everyone else my Patreon for supporting me for this month, but especially Garrett and Lucas for being my Fate gurus and guiding me through this hell that is the Fate hole. Honestly, couldn't have done it without you two, so thank you very much for being my gurus, and thank you very much for helping me do the research for all the information I've put in here. And also, thank you very much to everyone on my Patreon Discord server for fact-checking this video before it went live. Basically, what I'm trying to say is, if anything in this video is inaccurate or wrong, you can blame an entire Discord server for it. Something's still probably wrong though. And if you want to join the monthly calls where literally someone mentions Fate every fucking month, which is how this video got started in the first place, check out my Patreon. Or don't, please. You don't need any more people talking about Fate. But yeah, this video has been in production for way too long, mostly because the groundwork was done last year, and I really hope you enjoy the style of this video because it took a lot of work, and I don't know if you could tell, but I had a really fun time filming this video. Me and my editor have been putting off working on this video for so long because we knew how much work it would take. But yeah, as I said earlier, this probably won't be the only Fate video I put out because we've done way more research than what I've put into this video. So I hope you're excited for the next one because both me and my editor are really looking forward to working on another video like this. Right, Alan? That Alan. Such a joker. Anyway, that's it from me. No further updates. I've been Gigguk, and I hope you enjoy the hell we're about to walk into. Because I'm not.